Should I have kids? Now, before you get your hopes up about the possibility of a bunch of mini Garretts running around, let me start by saying that I've already made up my mind. I've already answered this question for myself many times. I'm not having kids, in spite of a strong desire to do so. However, no matter how many times I reach that final conclusion, my paternal instinct keeps bringing me back to the question to make sure I'm not wrong. I think it is immoral to have children. At least right now. Maybe there was a time when it was okay, and maybe there will be a time in the future. But right now, here on Earth, whether it is flat or spherical, it is definitely not in good shape for children. We live in a hellhole run by psychopaths. Our money, our food, our education, our weather, and even apparently our concern for future generations are all fake. Hundreds of thousands of children disappear every year in the United States alone, so it must be millions worldwide. And what do you think happens to the children that disappear? You probably don't think about it, do you? Even if you did, I highly doubt you have the imagination or sadistic nature necessary to guess all the things that are done. But I'm sure you could guess a few. And somehow, this isn't big news. Maybe some people at the news stations have some involvement. Maybe they have an interest in covering it up. The owners and CEOs of TV networks tend to belong to an ethnic group whose tribal literature condones and promotes pedophilia, so I have very little doubt that my suspicion is correct. On top of all this, the world is getting dumber, and it was already pretty dumb. But now, the only countries with positive birth rates are the ones with the lowest average IQ. And the countries with the highest average IQ are on their way to extinction if nothing changes. This is the result of a deliberate policy of racial dysgenics, the opposite of eugenics. And combined with unlimited immigration from the third world to white countries, essentially guarantees that any children I have will be surrounded by even more retards than I am currently. This is unacceptable. My kids deserve better. Now I know some of you may be thinking that I am part of the problem if I'm not reproducing and spreading my high IQ genes, and to some extent you would be right. Call me pessimistic, but I don't see the point if we can't decrease the retard multiplication rate first. And even if demographics were not the way they are, and going in the direction they are, my previous objections to parenthood still stand. You may be thinking, "You're doing what they want, you're playing right into their hands." And you are correct there, too. It would be somewhat satisfying to have kids just because the powers that be told me not to, but it also seems a little childish, and I would rather not base my decision of whether to have children on spite. My coping mechanism for all this has been reincarnation. I hope that in my next life, I will live on a planet with at least, or maybe I should say in a realm. I'm not sure about planets. I will live in a realm with at least a 140 average IQ. Even if mine stays at 130 and I'm dumber than average, the world would be so amazing it won't matter. In case I didn't make it clear with the dysgenics comment, I would just like to add that the dumbing down of the world is on purpose in order to create a slave race that is too stupid to rise up against their slave masters.